In the legal world, there is a combination of forces that feed a corrupt and suffocating legal system for attorneys. Law schools, law professionals, judges, and even the firms themselves for whom you work create a system, a matrix, if you will, that is nothing like what you thought when you passed the bar exam. The purpose of this podcast is to help you escape this legal matrix, leading you out of the proverbial desert to be free of the bondage of the matrix. Hosted by Bryce D. Nyer, attorney at law with over 30 years experience in the trenches of civil and criminal litigation at the state, federal, and international levels. He's a highly accomplished and resourceful legal professional, a true master of his craft, and he's here to help you get your life back. Here's your host, Bryce D. Nyer.
All right. We are here in Fayetteville, North Carolina, home of Fort Bragg. This is Bryce D. Nyer coming at you. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, whatever time zone, country, territory you are in. It is another episode of Escape the Legal Matrix, an attorney's exodus from what? From bondage. And we are fired up today. I am fired up today. Yeah, I am. I'm having this hot, healthy tea right now to get my vocal cords back in order. I've been talking a lot this week and trying to project to what we're going to talk about today, which is called certainty. Now, this subject of certainty is also near and dear to my heart. It's near and dear to all my domains, especially in body, being, balanced, business, and being fulfilled, and of course, going through the process and the pain in each one of those domains. But when we talk about certainty, there are people that are certain about, well, certain things. Like, we're certain that gravity exists because you jump off a building, you will come to the earth, unless you have a parachute, but you're still coming to the earth, albeit slower. We have certainty that if we go without water and food for an exorbitant period of time, our bodies will shut down and we will die. And that is certain. We are certain that we are obviously born into this world, and we are certain that we shall die, and we will. And there are no exceptions, there are no waivers, there are no passes. But in the area of business, in the area of opening, owning, operating, and leading your own law firm, there has to be a certainty. And I discuss this again because we had previously discussed this topic of fear. And the fear can be good and it can be bad. Again, a little bit of fear keeps you on your toes. Too much fear, then what happens is it paralyzes you. It paralyzes you. And that's not good. And a lot of the times when the fear paralyzes a person, it's because they don't have certainty. They don't have certainty in themselves. And that's one of the things that I have had to work on my entire life. It's something all of us need to work on, not just once in a while on a blue moon, but every single day, of having certainty. When people look at you, what do they see? When people look at me, what do they see? When I look at me, what do I see? Do I see certainty? Do I see certainty? For example, I've hired fitness coaches. When I look at them and I see that they walk the talk in the way that they look, their fitness, and the meal preparations, and I've followed them and watched them for not just days, but weeks, months, and then they're consistent. I see that they have a certainty that they project, that they can help somebody, that they can lead somebody to proper nutrition and proper fitness because they have achieved the results in others, and the metrics are there. And so for me, as we build out and we talk about escaping the legal matrix, my certainty, I am certain that I can lead law students and lawyers to owning, opening, operating, and leading their law firms because I have done it. I have owned, operated, and led 2 separate law firms. The one I'm in now is mine. It's my second one. I am leading teams. I have led teams. I have led clients. I have led to victories. And of course, you're not always going to have victories and everything in the legal profession. In this game of escaping the legal matrix, there will times when you will suffer losses. You will. But you still have to have certainty to go into battle. Every battle that you win ultimately leads you to winning the war. And what is the war? The war is to be free. To be free of what? To be free of the legal matrix. And remember, the legal matrix doesn't want you to have certainty. The legal profession, again, which comprises of judges, lawyers, the court system, the law schools, executive orders, the Orwellian policies, everything in the world is run by something legal. It dictates your life, which has become problematic in the world because our lives are now dictated by the legal matrix, which is insane and it's crazy. And for lawyers, you're contained in this box where it makes you lose your certainty. The certainty, like, I know I can go out and, well, I don't know. Maybe I can't go out and start my own firm. Maybe I'm scared. I'm getting a salary. I'm getting benefits. I'm comfortable where I am. And that's this type of discussions I had this past week with lawyers. When I went to some of my colleagues again, and I said, why aren't you opening, operating, and leading your own law firm? Why are you not doing this? And it was, again, as I have spoken about before, they don't see the certainty in themselves, or I have failed in parlaying my certainty that I can lead them to have certainty. And so that sent me back, all yesterday and last night. I'm like, what did I say that failed in my message? Did I not have certainty when I was talking to my colleagues? And did I fail to assure them that I had the certainty that they can be certain that they can open, own, operate, and lead their own law firms? Because it still goes back, this concept of fear and certainty, they go hand in hand. Because if you have so much fear, you can't have certainty. And the only way to overcome the fear is to have the certainty that you can go out there and you can battle and you can do war and you can fight and you can win and you can destroy this thing we call the legal matrix. Certainty. It's just like the first time, I remember when I went out for track, I was a sophomore in high school. I knew I could throw a discus, but the coach said, no, we're going to make you a hurdler. I'm like, I've never run hurdles before. I've never done this. And I had like zero certainty, but the track coach, who was also my physical education coach, this guy, he'd been a Golden Gloves boxing champ. I mean, he was in great shape. He portrayed certainty, and he was on it. He said, yes, you can. Yes, you can. I have coached many. I have led many to be great hurdlers. And, of course, the first time, in practice I did the hurdles, it did not go well. It was painful. It was painful. But practice was 5 days a week, Monday through Friday. And so with every practice and every fall and every pain and getting back up, I gained more what? I gained more certainty. And as I gained the certainty, when I would go to the track meets, I felt a confidence, not an arrogance, but a confidence and a competence that I could compete against the men on my right and the men on my left. That I could compete, that I could run the race. Win, lose, or draw, I was going to compete because I had the certainty based upon the training, based upon being led, and then eventually turned into being able to lead myself. Because I had to do the 120 high hurdles. I had to do the 330 intermediates. I had to do the training Monday through Friday, the sprints, the runs, the stretching. The coach couldn't do it for me. He could guide me. He could lead me. He could teach me. But in the end, the certainty came down to me. And the certainty for you law students and the certainty for you lawyers, no matter what age you are, about opening, owning, operating, leading your own law firm, to being the best version of who you can be, to be the king or queen of your kingdoms, to keep the cash that you make, not share it, but to lead, to be the dominant force in your own law firm requires you to have certainty. And I am just amazed that how the law schools and this profession, or what we call the legal profession, has brainwashed law students and young lawyers that they can't run and own and operate and lead their own law firms because they don't want you to. They want you to be a slave to somebody else so you make the money for them. When will you all understand this? They talk a good game that they want you to succeed, but they want you to succeed in their organizations, bring in the cash for them. They're not going to share the cash with you. They're going to pay you a salary, give you a bonus once in a while, and they are going to keep the bulk of the fruits of your labor. This is what you need to understand. This fear that you have to fight it. You took the LSAT. Did you have fear in taking the LSAT? Maybe you were nervous, but you still did it. What about the bar exam? Those of you that passed and those of you maybe having to go back a second or third time. You've got to face the fear. You can't let it be an obstacle. In my life, there were times I let fear overwhelm me. And it froze me in my tracks from making a decision. And when you make no decision and when you don't go, when you don't move, when you just sit there, that is a decision. So this certainty is an essential ingredient for your own personal and professional success. I hear, law schools. Okay, let's talk to you law students for a minute. So it's understandable you have to learn the academics of courses. It's a different way of thinking to be a lawyer, whether you litigate or you do document prep, whatever it is that you do. But the failure in law schools, the utter and complete failure, is the failure of leadership training, of really challenging you on an exam is not leadership. That's not leadership at all. Tossing your ass into a courtroom, making you in your third year litigate a case, litigate where somebody's ass is on the line in a civil or criminal hearing, that's some leadership. That's some training. That's getting it done. Allowing you in your third year of law school where they assign you, say you are going to go out and you're going to find a lawyer or you're going to work with a lawyer, a brand new one, and you're going to open, you're going to own, you're going to operate, and you're going to lead and open this new law firm during your third year, and you're going to make it happen. That's a real challenge. That's a real world event. That requires you to have certainty. And if you law students were to do that, if you were to go out and do that, by the time you graduate and you pass the bar, you would have the certainty to do the same thing because you had been there, you had been trained, you have skill sets, and now you are ready to open, own, operate, and lead. Because why? Because you've done it. This is the experience I bring to the table. Decades of experience. Decades. Wins, losses, pain, suffering, pits, peaks, sedations, you name it, I've been through it. I war with the legal matrix. I don't back down from the legal matrix. I have the metrics to prove it. And you have to learn this game of certainty. There will be times, no doubt, when you may look up or look in the mirror and go, what in the hell am I doing? And you really have to be radically insane. You have to be a psychopath. Because to open, own, operate, and lead any business, whether it's a law firm or any company, requires you to be a psychopath. You have to be willing to risk it all. You have to be willing to have this impossible game of looking at where you are right now today and then saying a year from now, this is the man or the woman I want to be. And there's this thing called the gap. And you can't cross the gap unless you have certainty. I had to have certainty. When I got commissioned as a second lieutenant and I got sent over to Europe 6 months later, I was there 5 years and 2 months. And I got my first platoon. It was like 58 to 70-something soldiers. I didn't know what the hell I was doing. But I was a lieutenant. I was a platoon leader. And it wasn't like being a cadet anymore. Not at all. And man, the tsunami came at me. Responsibility, assignments, duties, you name it. It just got tossed on me. And my soldiers in my platoon were looking at me. And what did they want? They wanted certainty. And they wanted certainty that I wasn't a misfit toy. They wanted certainty that when we did PT physical training, that I could make the 3 to 5 mile run, that I could do everything better than they could. Because they had seen leaders in the officer ranks and the NCO ranks that they were losers. They were just losers, and they were not setting the example. They weren't leading. And when I was in my first unit, I said, I've got to set the standard in my platoon. I've got to be different, unique. And when I became second in command, the readiness officer, as an executive officer, with my second commander, I'm like, we're going to change things up, sir. We need to change them up. He's like, you're right. And we developed training and curriculum and programs for the officers and the NCOs to where, you're not managing anything. You don't manage shit. You lead. And you lead from a position of strength and a position of certainty, because those young soldiers did not want to end up in a body bag or worse, wounded with their legs blown off or some other being maimed because the officers were stupid and didn't know how to lead and didn't have certainty. I mean, in war, you can't guarantee anybody whether they'll live or die. What you can do as a leader is show up with certainty that you're going to make this mission happen and provide certainty which inspires your troops. Just like as a lawyer, you have to inspire your clients that you have certainty to guide them through the path of this hellish destruction that they've gotten themselves into. And you young lawyers, or maybe you lawyers that have been working for state or federal government and you're fed the hell up with it. And you're sitting there going, okay, I've got a guaranteed salary. I've done this. I just can't do this anymore. Then you have to have certainty. You have to have certainty. If you have no certainty, you might as well just go home. Sit on the couch and binge watch Netflix, get fatter, eat more crappy food, drink more booze, sedate, watch porn, whatever the hell it is you do in your sedations and pits, and become nothingness and become the walking dead. Or you can live the passionate death, and you can get up and you can lead, and you can open, own, operate, and lead your own law firm. That's what Escaping the Legal Matrix is about. It's about building this army of 1 million litigators across this globe to live the warrior's way, to live in truth, to operate in truth, to stop the lying, to tell the truth, to do the work, to focus on these domains of body, being, balance, business, and fulfillment, and go through this process and experience this pain to do what? To rise, to be the best version of who you can be. Why would you settle for being mediocre? Why would you settle for a set salary when you could go out and charge the fees and command the fees and show and know your value and provide a certainty to the client and to the public and to your colleagues and to the judges and to the courts and to the world of who and what you are? But yet, here we are. And when I heard the remarks, and I listened, it was 70% of them talking, 30% of me talking, okay? Because I was told you got to just shut up, Bryce, let them talk. And I did. And it was the same common denominator. Fear, 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 fear. I can't do it. I don't want to do it. I'm comfortable, blah, blah, blah. Got this, well, okay. But what if you made 3 times as much? What if you could provide more for your child or children? What if you could provide more for you? What if you had more free time? What if you had more balance? What if you had a better relationship with God? What if your relationship with your girlfriend, your boyfriend, your spouse, your fiance, your siblings, your children, your parents was just on fire? Because you made the conscious choice to have the certainty to take the risk to go out and just battle the legal matrix and war with it and be free. What would that look like for you? What would it look like a year from now if you just did something every day, if you studied something every day, if you read something every day, if you consumed something every day, if you worked out every day, if you were with a group of people at least once a week, if you had a curriculum that would lead you to a path of greatness and rising and being the best version of who you could be? Why would you not do it? Why would you not ask the better questions? Why would you not sit and say, what do I want? It's not what you don't want. Once you answer what you want with certainty, everything else becomes irrelevant. Everything else becomes irrelevant. Because certainty provides the answers to the better questions. What do I want in body? What do I want in balance? What do I want in being? What do I want in business? What do I want in fulfillment? What do I want? And then write it down with certainty. Don't waffle on it. Don't sit on the bench. Don't sit on the sidelines. Stop it. I am not asking you to do anything that I am not doing right now today for me. I am transforming. I sat my life. And yes, I did some great things. Went some great places, had some great experiences. But you know what? That one day 6 years ago, as I sat there and I was having a Sam Adams beer. And I saw that video come across my Facebook feed of Wake Up Warrior from Garrett J. White. I didn't know who he was, didn't know what it was. And something just clicked. Something just lit a fire under my ass to watch that video for 65 minutes. And 6 years later, I'm still in Wake Up Warrior. I didn't quit. And I'm developing and have developed a certainty. It's one thing to walk into a courtroom because you can and argue a case because you're a lawyer and you're allowed to go, up around the arena just because you have a law license. It doesn't mean you're the sharpest tool in the toolbox. When you get out there, you young law students and you young lawyers, that maybe you're working for somebody and you're kind of protected, but you really get out there in the game, when you get out there and you battle the legal matrix, if you fail to have certainty of who and what you are, the legal matrix will eat your ass alive. It will pound you down to nothing if you let it. But you don't have to let it. I'm not letting it. I refuse to surrender. I refuse to surrender my certainty. I will not do it. I will suffer the pain of the process of freedom. Freedom from the legal matrix. I will not be put in a box. I will not be contained. Oh, sure, the judge could hold me in contempt, throw my ass in jail. But inside, I will be free. I will not be contained, and I will not be controlled, and I will not be led by the legal matrix. And the legal matrix is real. Wake up. We do not have 1.3 million leaders in the United States of America for lawyers. We just have 1.3 million lawyers. We need leaders. The world needs leaders. Be a leader. Don't be a manager. Be a damn leader. Lead with certainty and power and clarity and focus. And thrive in the domains of body, of being, of balance, of business and fulfillment. And go through the process and go through the pain. Nobody ever achieved greatness. Nobody by sitting around waiting. Because nobody is coming to save you. You have to save yourself. And you save yourself by learning the skill sets and doing the training to be a leader and to have certainty in what you do and what you say and how you act in everything that you do. So what are you going to do? What are you going to do? You're going to go another day of indecision? Because indecision is a decision. Or are you going to reach out to me and say, hey, Bryce, I heard your message, resonated with me. And if this resonates with you, then have that conversation. We can't do it just in a podcast and in a half an hour to an hour. We have to have this deep, meaningful conversation about what are the facts of your life? Where are you? And what do you want? Because you can have certainty. You can open, own, operate, and lead your own law firm. You don't have to be a slave to the Pharaoh. You don't. I won't do it, and you shouldn't either. I have certainty. I have focus, and I have clarity. And there are days, I have fear, but I'm not going to let the fear paralyze me and stop me. I'm going to move forward. I'm going to move forward every day. No matter how slow or how fast, I'm going to move forward. And I want you to move forward too. So if you're ready to move forward, if you're ready to have clarity and focus and being the best version of who you can be to open, own, operate, and lead your own law firm, then send me a direct message. Contact me at brycednair@gmail.com. Bryce, B-R-Y-C-E, D is in Delta, Nair. N is in November, E-I-E-R. BryceDNair@gmail.com. Or call my law firm at 910-423-5000. That's 910-423-5000. Say it, say it, 910-423-5000. 910-423-5000. And tell my staff you want to talk to me about escaping the legal matrix. All right. That's another episode of Escape the Legal Matrix. We've been talking about certainty. So ask the better question. Where do you have certainty and where do you not have certainty? What should you be doing that you're not doing? And what are you not doing that you should be doing? These are the better questions. All right. Until the next episode of Escape the Legal Matrix, love and light to every one of you out there. This is Bryce D. Nair coming at you from Fayetteville, North Carolina, home of Fort Bragg, and we are out of here.